Welcome back to my channel. It is Krista here to do the weekly reading for the sign of Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So this is for the week of September 5th to September 12th. Now you'll notice I'm uploading a little bit later today for your sign, and here's full disclosure. I did everyone's readings earlier this week and recognized after I did both yours and Aries that I misread one of the cards in your spread. Now, I'm going to mention what the card was because I think it's very important for you to know what it was. And I want you to know if it pops up again that it's coming up twice, so it's doubly important. But I do think it's important to tell you what came up. And I also think it's my obligation because I messed up the reading to provide another one for you. So I've only got time to do that today, so forgive me for uploading a teeny bit late. In saying that, let's get to the wording behind the card that I misread originally. I do think it's important for you to recognize that it did show up because, again, it was in your spread and it wasn't the fault of the card that it got misread, and I'm doing it over. So we're looking at the card Raven. Its word is magic. If this has appeared in your spread, you are about to experience a change in consciousness. This may involve walking outside the great mystery on another path at the edge of time. Raven says you have earned the right to see and experience a little more of life's magic. If you have chosen Raven, magic is in the air. Do not try to figure it out. You cannot. It is the power of the unknown at work, and something special is about to happen. The deeper mystery is how you will respond to sparkling synchronicity of the alchemical moment. Will you recognize it and let it further your growth? Or will you limit it by explaining it away? Okay, so that's what I feel that you need to know with regard to that card, because it is a very, very powerful energy card. In saying that, let's move forward. So as you know, this is a general reading for you, Cancer. I'm using the Medicine card tarot for your main spread and drawing additional cards from the Wisdom of the Oracle and Healing with the Angels. So what does Cancer need to know? All right. Wow. Okay. So first things first, you know I normally do a little snapshot of what's going on with all cards together here. This is just as spiritual a reading as the original. None of the same cards, to be fair, but I would say just as critically spiritual here. I'm noticing something as well, Cancer. I've been reading for you weekly now since April, so for the past few months. And I've noticed something gradual but permanent for you here, with maybe 1 week that was off a little bit. There is an enormous spiritual awakening for you that I'm sure, I am 100% positive, in fact, that you're aware of and that you're bringing into your life because it's important to you. Now, I want to congratulate you, first of all, for doing that hard work because, as we all know, everything is energy, everything is vibration, and the more one human being does to elevate their own personal growth and spiritual awakening, the more it enhances all of humanity. So I just want to begin by saying that, because here we have another spread that's not only highly spiritual and graced by God, but we have a situation here where you are acting as a teacher, okay? Whether you're aware of this or whether you accept this, and I suspect you do because you're becoming so much more comfortable with what you're doing. In fact, you might even be interested and well on your way down this path of a spiritual awakening because you understand how it's important for you to help other people out of the darkness. So yeah, you're not taking this lightly. here's what's different this week. You're going to be called upon, very likely, either by one or many people, to act as a messenger for what you've learned, okay? So there is an opportunity for you here to help someone else out of something because they're ready to get out of it, okay? This is, and I think that you're aware of this too, Cancer, where there's a leading the horse to water all you want, and you're just not the type of person here at this stage anyway to force anything on anyone. You understand that to act as a leader, to be a true teacher, is to simply live as one, okay? So I really feel like you're drawing people to you through no effort of your own. And because that's the case, you're going to be able to have these heightened conversations and relationships as they are, because everyone's in the same frame. Everyone's in, I would say, cahoots, but that sounds like sketchy. So everyone's there because they want to be there is what I'm trying to say. So you're not pushing yourself on anyone. Anyone coming into your world this week who's interested in what you have to say is doing it of their own accord. So yeah, share your riches with them. They're genuinely interested. So let's look at why I would be saying such things. We have the wolf as the central position. This represents you this week, and this is teacher. This is where you are currently, or this week will find yourself in a position to act as a teacher for someone else. Could this be just someone watching what you do, not saying a word? Absolutely. In fact, this is the best way to learn from a teacher. We like to call it monkey see, monkey do. This is what's going on. You're having an impact on at least one other person here who has taken what you have discovered, accomplished, found, learned, experienced, etc., and they're taking it and about to apply it to themselves. What they want to do is learn more. So you are being asked to put yourself in a teacher position this week. If for whatever reason you find that you are actually in a teacher role as a career, that could be what it's speaking to as well. I want to be clear that these are general readings. So of course, however you take these messages and apply them to what is most important to you this week is what I encourage you to do. But barring you being an actual school teacher or professor, there's definitely a situation here where you are being asked to act as teacher, or you are being welcomed to act as teacher, or someone believes that you would make a good teacher. In the card that has influenced the current position is literally grace. Swan is grace, and of course the sister card to this in the traditional Rider-Waite, it would be the Ace of Swords. We know that the Ace of Swords is, the cup overfloweth. It is the grace of God. It is divine energy, divine inspiration, and divine education. So by the grace of God here is how you've gotten to this current position. This could have, this acting as a teacher, could very well have something to do with the occult, the esoteric, or religious, and specifically spiritual arts or spiritual education, depending on how people view them. Some people are religious but spiritual, and some people are religious, and spiritual and not religious, and that would be me. So religion doesn't have to be in play here necessarily, but a sense of spirituality, a sense of humanity, a sense of the grace of God, or understanding source, or understanding source energy, right? So definitely being led to a current situation through the grace of God, and so much of it is just accepting. It's just saying, yes, I'm willing to act as this person in the world. And again, I really want to thank you for doing that, because we need more people like this. In your probable outcome is Hawk. We have Messenger here. So again, very closely tied together, I would suggest here we have Teacher and Messenger. So someone is looking for definitive messages from you, or in gathering messages from you in order to help them develop themselves, or their own ideologies, or their own belief system, etc. Definitely understand here that if you've been in receipt of messages yourself, either through the grace of God or you have achieved something here in terms of a message. So this could be through the arts, this could be through an experience that you've had, or a development, or even a conversation or a relationship with someone else who's sort of on the same path here. You could be seen here this week as the person that they're going to turn to for even more information or messages that they themselves are not privy to. So again, very much divinely inspired here, I would say, without hyperbole. In the overall energy for the week is grouse. Here we have sacred spiral. Here's where I really feel like we're looking at large macro energy, macro creation, macro source, large scale questions, large scale concerns. Sacred spiral, of course, is looking at origin stories, right? Creation stories, the creation of God, what God is, or who God is, and what it means to you. So again, we're looking at very spiritual information here, or influence, and then highly spiritual energy for the week. So I really feel, Cancer, that if you sense that you're being guided very strongly, and you're not having a whole lot of upset, and you're not having a whole lot of what I would call speed bumps, right? Everything in this path for you seems to be fairly trouble-free. If there are any speed bumps, they're easily overcome, or you're not being dissuaded or distracted here. So this is very important. If that's the case, keep going. This is the route that you are very comfortable taking on for yourself. And it's also very necessary, I would suggest right now, for you to continue on this path. Because this is, it's not light work that you're doing. And it matters not if someone else can see it, right? It doesn't matter if someone else can see the result of your hard work right now. This is an esoteric, this is a spiritual matter. And the sight will be evident eventually, okay? If someone needs to see a sign, they'll get it. But this is what matters primarily for you, is the spiritual, the esoteric side of it. Something will manifest shortly. And it could be the actual relationship or conversation here that you're going to be having as messenger that will act as the culmination or the tangible effort behind the spiritual growth here. In one of your additional cards, we have why. So this is strictly motivation. We're looking at large scale questions again. We're looking at, we could even pair the sacred spiral to this ancient energy motivation card, right? What motivates you to certain things? Why are you pulled in certain directions? And I don't feel like you're lost with this, even if you were at one time, or even if you had questioned yourself, or your eligibility for this type of work, as it were. If that is the question, it's been answered, or you feel very strongly that if you have questions around motivation or intention, you simply need to turn to Source, or God, as it were, or your relationship with Source, or creation energy, or Gaia. I mean, whatever name you want to give that energy that you are, in my view, even if you're not putting a name on it, you know exactly what this is, okay? You know exactly what God energy or Source energy is for you right now. So what is your motivation behind certain things? I don't think this question is going to be as powerful as it once was for you. I think the motivation now around asking why might be other people's motivations. I think you have things pretty settled. I think there could be, if the why question around motivation comes up, it could be why someone could be turning to you for this message, or why now. But I wouldn't let yourself get bogged down by this, okay, Cancer? Unless you are feeling uncomfortable with this and you feel you need to pull away from it, you could be asking, where do I really belong? What's my motivation for continuing this? What's my motivation behind asking these type of questions or having these conversations? Or why would they be interested in talking to me? I'd rather talk to someone else. So you really just need to decide who you want to talk to this week about these developments. Maybe you don't trust someone or a group of people. But don't throw everyone out with the bathwater this week, and certainly stay in touch with or in tune with ancient energy, anything that feels ancient to you, or ancient mythologies, even ancient creation stories. But certainly having the question be motivation, what motivates you to or not to certain things. Yeah, I don't see that tripping you up in terms of why you're motivated towards certain things. It could just be, you know, what's next. Like, now I've gotten this far. I've really, especially if you feel like you're completing something, or you are at the end of accomplishing something here, you could even say, okay, what's going to motivate me forward? What's the information I need to know to move forward with what I've already accomplished here? So, Archangel Michael. So this is where you could be asking literally for the help. Now, if you're a spiritual being and you have your own relationship with a spirit guide, or God, him or herself, or an ancestor that you've been calling upon, please feel free to call upon them for assistance. However, Archangel Michael is making himself available to you and suggesting that you ask him for assistance in figuring out what your motivations are here, or what others' motivations are in speaking to you about this issue, where you are to act as a teacher with regard to probably sacred spiral. We're looking at, you know, elemental, you know, even gnosis or occult language here. So you could be asking, if there are several people coming your way, for example, who want to talk to you or have you ask as a teacher, maybe ask who you should speak to, if you only want to speak to one, or what their motivations could be. Or like I said, if you're at the end of something here for yourself and you want to know where to continue, where to move forward, you could ask Archangel Michael for assistance in terms of where do I need to move from this point to go further with this study or with this interest. But yeah, I've actually had personal experience in reaching out to Archangel Michael for help. I can assure you that he does pull through. The trick here is in asking a very definitive question. So make sure your intention is clear and that your language is very clear when asking for help. Ask that he help you accomplish something that you envision already accomplished. So if you need help finding a job, you could say, Archangel Michael, I appreciate your help at this time securing a job for myself. Tell me what I need to know to find that job, perfect job for me. And then just repeat that a couple times a day, and in the process, go about looking for that job. So asking for help means taking action on your own as well. So reach out, ask for help from someone who's helped you in the past, or please turn to Archangel Michael. Ask where you need to go from here forward, or if you have the right motivations in moving in this process. I just don't see that being an issue for you, but if for whatever reason you're concerned you're not talking to the right people, or the right people aren't talking to you, certainly ask what their motivations might be, or yours, in trying to speak to the person that you feel would be a better fit. But yeah, that's the only thing I see in terms of asking a question here. The rest of it is pretty cut and dry about you really being graced here, living a graceful existence with regard to your own spirituality, acting as a teacher and very possibly a messenger. This could turn into something much, much larger for yourself, by the way, as a probable outcome. This is the way that this is going. So you may be asked to actually do some teaching or to create a teaching manual. Okay, so let me know. I'm always curious to know how this works out for you, my dear Cancers. If you have a second, comment below. And if you're not already, subscribe to my channel, because I upload videos for your sign every single week. So until we meet next time, take good care, Cancer. Bye for now.